sports, politics, life. B-Stock Electronics Outlet Store presents Kevin Keatsman Has Issues, online at bstock.net.
Well, in case you haven't heard, we're throwing a party for the Royals season opener on Thursday afternoon. The Royals and Twins play at 3 o'clock. Supposed to be 67 degrees, mostly sunny. If you'd like to join us, it's for the patrons of Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. It's very easy to sign up. Go to kkhasissues.com. Sign up to become a patron for $5.99 a month. Receive the premium podcasts each week and the newsletter once a week as well. And fun things like patron parties, where I throw a taco bar party for everyone. I got all the food. We got a bunch of T-shirts we're going to be passing out. They're pretty cool. They're blue, Royals blue, powder blue. They say Kansas City on the front. On the back, they say Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. If you'd like a KKHI T-shirt, sign up to become a patron. First come, first serve. We've had an overwhelming response to this party. We've got well over 100 have RSVP'd, and we generally have about 20% more than RSVP. So this is going to be a big gathering. It's at a very big place. It's going to be indoor, outdoor. It's a really cool setup. I've got all the food, the free T-shirts, and we're going to have a great time. 3 o'clock on Thursday. If you'd like to come, join as a patron this week. Go to kkhasissues.com and get signed up. Do it now. Get on it. Get on it. All right. Our podcast today is sponsored by the KK List. It's a great place to go to support all of our sponsors. Many of you send me emails about the experiences you have with the sponsors of our podcast. We greatly appreciate you giving them the opportunity to earn your business. And then when they do earn your business and it goes so well and you send me an email, it's the best feeling in the world. So just a little reminder that all the sponsors are all in one place, plus many, many more that are not mentioned on the podcast, all at thekklist.com. We vet these folks. We know these folks. Some we've known for years. Some are new friends, but they're conservative American patriots that run their businesses along those lines. And I think we all know and trust people like that. So if you'd like to do business with conservative businesses in and around Kansas City, you can find a whole bunch of them in one place, goods and services, at thekklist.com. I got a little bounce in my step today after watching some of the comments over the weekend of James Carville, the Democrat operative who helped Bill Clinton get elected way back in the day, who I think is a rather interesting political character and is one of these people that has some instincts for what Americans like and what they don't like. And I think he has just demonstrated the great divide of the Democrat Party that is going to bring them apart. While everybody's talking about the Republicans splitting up and maybe losing the House of Representatives before the election in November because we've got people defecting and the Republicans are a mess in the House. I'm not arguing that. We got a lot of issues in our own House about what we are as a party. Trump, I believe, is single-handedly taking care of that. I think the party is moving right. I think it's becoming stronger and less willing to negotiate and bend with the crazy leftists, and I think that is good for America. But the real drama for me is inside the Democrat Party because theirs is, well, it's a completely different breakup than what the Republicans have going. It's not that James Carville and Democrats like him are soft. It's not like they're rhinos. It's not like they're soft and just conceding to Republicans right and left. It's that they believe what's happening with their party is going to just keep them from winning elections forever. And Carville has spoken out in a podcast he did this week, and what he has said is, well, it sounds like me. To be honest, I've been talking for over a year about the Swifties, about the Taylor Swift vote, and how the Democrats were going to turn this election into an abortion referendum, that is going to be their only play. That's the only thing they're going to have. They don't have the economy. They don't have the border. They don't have safety or security. They don't have taxes. They don't have common sense. Most of these things that they talk about gender identity, that I've got to figure out who you are and call you they, them, or whatever, these are ridiculous ideas, and it's a silly premise for most voters or most Americans to even be thinking about stuff like that when you're trying to get through your daily life. What we see in this party a lot of really narcissistic or self-centered, mostly young women, but women in particular, that are controlling the party. And abortion is the one issue where those voters, for them, have the leg up with the American public. They're on publicly, percentage-wise, polling-wise, they're on the right side of abortion. Most Americans want some sort of abortion. Now, we can split the thing apart and talk about late term and all these other things, but most people that vote don't vote on it's black and white. Are you for or against abortion? And they'll vote for. Most people in America will vote for. So they have that on their side. The problem is they've taken all these other extreme positions that nobody cares about. And Carville is speaking out. It almost feels like the rats are jumping ship. And he is warning everyone that Biden's polling numbers right now, because he's gone so far left with what James Carville calls, quote, preachy females, unquote, in the Democrat Party. Now, that's as sexist as it gets. Okay? If I were saying the things that Carville is saying on my podcast, there would be people on the left listening going, he's a hater, he's a sexist, he's a racist, he's a pig, he's a Trump, he's a blah. Carville saying it is going to get their attention. Will it change anything? I don't know. But Carville has said Biden's polling numbers are so bad that nobody wants to talk about him. They're so bad, quote, it's like walking in on your grandma naked, unquote. He says you just can't unsee that. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. He said that's how bad his polling numbers are. And they're comparing them to Jimmy Carter and the landslide loss that Carter had in 1980. The rats are jumping ship. Democrats are losing all kinds of men, says Carville, because of all the preachy females that are running this party. The message is too feminine and it's silly, especially for black men. They're leaving in droves, Carville said. Quote, he says the preachy females tell the public, which means men are hearing this, quote, don't drink beer, don't watch football, don't eat hamburgers. These things aren't good for you. The message is too feminine. Go eat your peas. Everything you're doing is destroying the planet, unquote. Well, how spot on is that? James Carville has nailed it. If you haven't watched the interview, it's worth watching. The only thing I don't like about him making these comments is if they pay attention, they will gain votes. But I've said many times, I think this is pretty simple for Joe Biden. And they think he's backed himself into a corner now and he can't do it because he'd admit he was wrong. And admitting you're wrong in politics is worse than anything else. I don't think so. I think if you admit you're wrong in March and by the time November rolls around, things are better, I think you win. I think that matters. I think the scoreboard matters. I think if Biden went bonkers on the border and put back in all of Trump's policies and shut the thing down, I think he'd have a great chance of winning in November. Because I think there are people dumb enough to believe, well, he's done it. He saw the error in his ways. He corrected it, that he wouldn't uncorrect it after the election, which of course he would. You and I know that, but a lot of voters wouldn't think that. They think the best of Joe Biden. They go, okay, well, he just did right by us now. He's earned my vote. I'm going to vote for the guy, but he won't do that. Interest rates will also be lowered probably 3 or 4 times by the time you vote in November. That's going to get people motivated. There's a path for them to win. We're way too far away from the election to be claiming any victory, but the numbers are just astounding right now. In fact, it's so desperate. I read a piece in the Kansas City Star by this Hellenberger lady or whatever. She's wackadoodle left. She's so far left, it's crazy. She's now upset with MSNBC and CNN and leftist media outlets, online type outlets, because they have stopped televising Trump live. Now, you know this story. You've heard Rachel Maddow explain, we cannot allow, as a place with journalistic integrity, to have lies spewed over our airwaves when Trump is speaking live. We can't censor him in real time when he's telling all these lies, so we're just not going to show it. And so when he won his big court victories on Monday and had his money lowered and his stock for Truth Social is going public on this Tuesday, and he's going to be richer than he's ever been. They say his net worth will be close to $7 billion by the end of Tuesday because he's making so much money now with Truth Social going public. That he had a great day, and he's sitting there saying the things that are true about these lawsuits. They pull out, they cut away, they let it go for a minute or two, they cut away and go, okay, we'll keep an eye on this, and if he says anything that isn't a lie or a falsehood, we'll get it to you, which is a lie and a falsehood that they would say that. So the Kansas City Star, this is how crazy these people are. When Trump is sitting there saying nobody's ever been fined what I'm being fined by this Judge Engoron and the things that are going on, which is all true. What Trump is saying about these lawsuits is indisputably true. It is election interference. It is nothing more. If he were retired and not running for anything and not doing anything, these suits would not be happening. There is no arguing that. There's no arguing that. And that's the crux of everything that he's saying. They say he's lying. And this lady with the star, this Hegenberger, this lady says the only solution to win in November is to start airing him at all times, whatever he's saying, live, because he lies so much and he's such a buffoon and such an idiot, the American people will see that and not vote for him. She actually believes completely the opposite of what the rest of all the liberals in the media think, and that is, don't let him speak. Well, if he lies all the time, if that's all he does is lie, why wouldn't you want to run that live? Why wouldn't you want to do that? If he's so bad, if he's so inarticulate, and it's so easy to listen to him and say, I'm not voting for that guy, if that's the deal, you'd want to run that. And that's what this woman is writing now. He's so bad, he's such a liar, he's so inarticulate, he's such a piece of garbage when he speaks that anybody that watches him will want to not vote for him. If that's the case, she argues, run him live on TV all the time, and by November, everybody will be exhausted of Trump and not want to vote for him, and we'll win. I don't know if she's right or wrong. I just think it's amazing what's happening in this party. They don't know what to do. The solution's very simple. Biden either changes all his policies and they start working. He turns conservative for 6 months and then can go back to being a weirdo. He can do that. That would probably win. Or they broker the convention and boot him out. That there's some sort of power struggle, and I've thought this is going to happen all along, that when August, July, or August, whenever the convention is, rolls along, that he's going to be out. He's going to say, I'm too old, I'm not up for it. Something's going to happen. He's going to be out. They're going to go on the convention floor and nominate Gavin Newsom, and that's going to be that. And then it will be Newsom and Trump. I still think that. I do not believe Joe Biden's going the distance in this thing, because I know one thing about Democrats that nobody else talks about, that you won't hear anywhere else. The only thing that really matters isn't your pronouns. It's not your skin color. It's not your sexual preference. It's not any of these things that they talk about over and over. There is only one thing that matters to these people, and that is winning. It is the only thing they're truly good at. They distort, they twist, they manipulate, they scam, they steal, they lie, they do whatever they can to have power, to control your money. It's very easy to see how all this stuff works. In a moment, I'll share some thoughts with you on this stadium vote, because we're seeing it sort of in a mini situation here in Kansas City, the way this all works. But never lose sight of the fact, when you're thinking about what's going to happen over the next few months, never lose sight of the fact these people will do anything to win. And if you have never believed that, if you have thought America's bigger than that, if they're bad people, politicians we don't trust, that they have no morals, no compass, no all these other things, at least we've never been a point in our lifetime where it's been like this, where one party is trying to jail the candidate from the other. They're literally trying to break him financially and jail him like some banana republic or third world country. That's what the Democrats are doing, because they will do anything to win. And there is plenty of time for a better game plan for them. And that game plan for them, obviously, is to get rid of Joe Biden and probably Kamala Harris. Just send them both down the river and say, it's over, we're starting over. Gavin, we're going to, on the floor, we're going to find a nominee, and it'll be Gavin Newsom, and then Newsom will have, like, before the convention's even over, probably say, okay, this is my running mate, and we're going forward, nominate him on the floor, here we go. It's possible, it can be done. The delegates can do whatever they want at these conventions, and just remember, they will do anything to win. Except admit they're wrong, or admit that a Republican policy is better. They won't do those things, but they'll do anything to win. And I do think it would be as simple as Biden just adopting a whole bunch of Trump policies the next 6 months to fix America, put her back on course, and people would probably vote for him, but they're not. They most definitely are not. KKHI today is brought to you by our friends at MyPillow and MyPillow.com. Right now, a $25 sale is taking place at MyPillow.com. They have the little rubber sandals to wear to the pool for $25. They have towel sets for $25. All kinds of items at MyPillow.com right now with the promo code KKHI for just $25. They've also got the Giza cotton flannel sheets on sale. Mega sale right now. Reduced big time. MyPillow.com/KKHI. And all kinds of new towels are in at MyPillow.com. So you can call them as well. This is straight through to the KKHI number, 800-923-9034. That's 923-9034. Who can't use a new set of sheets and pillowcases? Honestly. Give them a try. You probably keep yours too long. You wash them, you wear them, you use them, and they get worn out. It's time for new ones. MyPillow.com, promo code KKHI. North Kansas City Dental is your new dentist. I mentioned last week I got a buddy, and he doesn't live very close to North Kansas City, but he was upset with his dentist for being late and taking up his valuable time. And he said, why should I go to a dentist who holds me and can't make the appointment on time? Why should I do that? So he went to North Kansas City Dental, and he texted me back and goes, what an operation that is. And how friendly and wonderful and nice and warm it was. Now, they have multiple dentists there, not just Dr. Bill Bush. They have multiple dentists and 2 locations, North Kansas City and Westwood on the Kansas side. You can be a patient, too, and you will notice the North Kansas City difference. nkcdental.com, 816-471-2911. Jessica's going in for her teeth cleaning on Monday. She'll be visiting Dr. Bush over there. Earth Effects Outdoor. It is the time of year to call Earth Effects Outdoor. We've loved this rain. It's going to green things up. It's been very nice. But Dan and his team, Darren and his guys that come out here and have worked at my house, they put in the lights in my backyard. They've done a whole bunch of cool different things and items around my house. They can do it for you as well. EEOutdoor.com. It stands for Earth Effects. EE Outdoor. They're phenomenal with hardscapes and big projects. So mine, they built a big berm and gave me some cover bushes for the side of my house, right outside where I do the podcast here. So I can't really see or hear the neighbor over that way. We can't see him or hear him behind our house, but you get to the side, we can. We wanted to block him even more because, you know, we like our neighbors, but it's kind of nice being little isolated here at home. So Earth Effects really helped us with that, and they designed it. They did the whole thing. But they also do hardscapes, ponds, waterfalls, kitchens, lighting, outdoor, just pretty much anything. EE Outdoor will also come just clean up around your house. You got a bunch of bushes or plants or things that need to be cleaned out, plant some new ones, get just the right stuff, put the mulch down, just freshen you up. They can do that for a really low cost. EEOutdoor.com, 816-478-7700. All right, in a little mini nutshell, here's what Democrats are all about. April 2nd, we have 2 conservative sports franchises. They're owned by families that are conservative. The Shermans and the Hunts. Conservative through and through. April 2nd, they want $1 billion of your money on a 3/8 cent sales tax, a brand new one that starts for 40 years immediately, if Jackson County voters vote yes. So when did the game change from greedy owner, and this is what's so bad about everything that happens now, and this is really kind of new. There's been a lot of government waste. There's been a lot of stupid programs through the years. We've seen those things. But when we talk about pork being attached to a bill or this being attached to that, this is what drives me crazy about all these things. Right now, every commercial I see doesn't even mention the Royals. It's just Chiefs. And it ends with Patrick Mahomes saying, keep us rolling. It's just Chiefs, which is kind of smart when you think about it. But they're now saying there's going to be a $3.8 billion economic output from this project and $1.2 billion annually in Kansas City after this is completed. In return for this, and this is what's new, kind of new and amazing to me, the Democrats have won in this regard really since Reagan, because George Bush fell for this crap too and did a whole bunch of it. You know, every little abused group or marginalized people, they're all running around with their hands out. I mean, what the heck is this rent thing in Kansas? KC Rent. These people are running around. Everybody's got their hands out. Every single group. The Kansas City Public Schools want money out of this thing. Everybody wants money out of this. We're going to have a tax. The Royals and Chiefs are going to benefit. And damn it, we better all get something. This is where it goes awry. To me, this alone is a reason to vote no. They call it a community benefits agreement. Community benefits agreements are total failures. It's a grift. It's thieves stealing money in programs that don't work and won't help anyone. You know what these programs are. They're this program in the inner city. There's this over here for KC tenants. There's this over here for public schools. There's this over here for beautification. It's insane. They're saying right now that they're going to offer $260 million of this money back to the community. The Royals and Chiefs are going to give $260 million back in community benefits. To me, everybody's making a big deal about this. This is the worst part. This is the best reason to vote no. How about no? It's either good for the community to do this or it's not good for the community. And we don't single people out and say, oh, you're marginalized. Here's some money for you. And, oh, here's KC Tenants. And you're building Tent City over here and want to convert hotels for homeless. Here's some money for you. No, we don't do that. This should not be political. This question should be simple. Do you want a tax for the Royals and Chiefs, for a new stadium for the Royals and upgrades for Arrowhead? Yes or no? Not $260 million. The biggest waste of money in this entire deal is going to the community benefits. It'll be a disaster. Jackson County and Kansas City, Missouri have no idea what to do with $260 million other than to steal it from the people, which they will do. We saw it at the airport. People got rich. We know what happened. We've seen it. I'll go farther than this on this one. This is so deep in the weeds. We're talking about giving money to KC tenants. I'll go ahead and predict right now, and I got to stay in this podcast long enough for this to come to fruition if this votes yes, that there will be multiple people convicted and going to jail over stealing this money. I'll predict that right now because of the ridiculous ways that the Royals and Chiefs supposedly are going to give it back. This is blood money. This is bribe money. This is vote yes, and we'll give you this money. It's the Royals and Chiefs saying it's the cost of doing business. If we want taxpayer dollars, we'll just throw it back at you. And it is so irresponsible of the Chiefs and Royals to say, we really don't care how you spend it. We don't care if it's good for anything. We don't care if people steal it. We just want the damn vote to pass. Which makes the Royals and Chiefs as scummy as anyone involved in all of this. That's as scummy as the people that will steal the money. They're all stealing money. That's what they're doing. Again, I'm not completely opposed to a sales tax that builds a new ballpark. That's not my hill to die on. I can see where that would be a good thing. If the project is done right, if it looks good, if it's in the right location, if it all comes together and makes sense, if it's been beautifully orchestrated, but they haven't done that. This has been a nightmare of a process for the Royals who've looked as bad off the field as they were on the field last year. And a few years before that. They've not earned a yes vote. They haven't. And I'm not opposed to voting yes. I think this is really important. I don't think most of you would be opposed to voting yes. It's a sales tax. You get the choice of whether to spend the money or not. It's not an income tax. It's not an earnings tax. It's not a property tax. It's a sales tax. You get the choice on whether or not you want to spend money in Jackson County. That's up to you. It's your choice. So I'm not opposed to a 3/8 cent sales tax building a new ballpark. But what I've seen so far, hell no. No. And I'm insulted by $260 million to a community benefits agreement, which they're all the people who are taking the money, the grifters that have their hands out for this money. They're all saying it's not enough. They want more. They want more than $260 million kicked back to them. That's 25%, folks. Wasted. Back to nothing. Will be stolen and gone and people in jail long before anybody notices anything. The money will do no good. If there's one guarantee here, there's a guarantee that if this passes, the Royals will build a stadium. That's it. There's no guarantee they'll get it right. There's no guarantee the ballpark village will come to fruition. There's no guarantee there'll be a hotel out there. There's no guarantees by they will build a ballpark if they get this money. That's a guarantee. The other guarantee is $260 million is going to get pissed down the drain. It will get wasted, exploited. Hell, people may die over it. There may be people get killed over it. It's unbelievable what would happen. When you flood that kind of money into these types of groups, these grifters, oh my God. I mean, if this was the George Floyd era, I'm sure some of it would go to erecting a statue for George Floyd or something of that nature, or a BLM community center or something that we then learn, as we instinctively knew these people were grifters and they were out for no good. We've now learned that the people that led it, they're all broke. They stole the money that they got. BLM had a good thing going there for a while. The NFL, Patrick Mahomes was doing commercials for BLM, for God's sake. He didn't even know what it was. They just told him to do it, and he did it. And it raised all this money, and they stole it all. And now what do you hear about these people? Anything? No, you don't, because a lot of them are in jail, and a lot of them got rich and then broke, and the whole thing was a scam. And now the Royals and Chiefs are complicit in this? They're just going to pay them off? And that's an insane part. Community benefits agreement. My ass. Seriously, this one really upsets me. And I know what you're doing right now. You're listening to me going, that's right, Kevin. Yes, you're right. This money is guaranteed to be stolen and wasted. And there will be no community benefit. There will be nothing. It will be crappy left-wing nonsense that some people makes them feel better because they put the money toward that. It's so stupid, man. Oh, my God, the insanity of liberalism. Well, this is quite a breaking story we've seen here that we woke up to on Tuesday, this bridge collapse in Baltimore. If you haven't seen it, the Francis Scott Key Bridge is a staple in Baltimore. This is the 9th largest port in America. And a big cargo ship goes pulling in there in the early hours this morning. And it's still dark. And there's, of course, video of it. It's crazy. It's not weather-related. It does not appear to be human error, but it could be. The ship clearly lost control and started swerving. And at the end, I mean, this is crazy. This ship is coming toward this bridge into port, and the lights go out on the ship. Like all power out, and it lasts quite a few seconds. And then the lights flash back on, and then they go back off. Something went woefully wrong with that ship. And it starts angling toward one of the pillars of this bridge. The lights come back on like maybe 5 seconds away from the pillar. And you can see the thing steer hard left, and it just starts to swing wildly. Like he's just trying to swing away from that pillar. And it hits that pillar, and that bridge just comes down. Just straight down on top of the ship. The ship's underneath the wreckage. So they're looking for at least 7 people that are missing. 2 were rescued. It's probably going to be more than that because there's no way to account for knowing exactly how many cars may have been on the bridge that fell into the water. They've got good weather today to find these people, but I mean, none of this looks good. I mean, it just seems impossible at this point. If you're in that water, you probably couldn't live more than 30, 40, 45 minutes before hypothermia gets you. So it doesn't look good for anybody that went down in the water other than the 2 that they rescued immediately. This is terrible. I mean, it's terrible. Did they lose complete control of the ship, navigational systems, rudder, steering controls, a lot of different things here. When you see the lights go out and it's just it's a wandering ship in the night, dark ship in the night going off course, it would appear they lost all control when the lights went out. The lights come back on and they start trying to move this thing, and then the lights go back out again. It's crazy. And right before it hits the bridge, on come the lights, and you can see him turn the ship a little bit. It must have been absolutely panic on the bridge of that ship. This is a terrible story and a really key, they're all talking about the port and, cruise ships and shipping. And this thing had however many containers a ship can hold. This had them, stacked like 5 stories tall. You know what I'm talking about. So they're talking about, okay, supply chain problems, this and that. The problem is rebuilding the bridge, folks. They're going to be able to clear that debris and open that port and get those ships in and out of there. and continue to do this after, I would think, I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess, but it's big steel girders down in the water. They ought to be able to tug those and get those out of there and open the port back up long before they'd have a new bridge for cars to go over. I would think. It makes sense to me, but what do I know about these things? I don't know. Look, it's unbelievable to watch. It's all on video. They have a static camera on that bridge that basically 24 hours a day is live, almost like a security camera, and you could see this thing hit it. It's crazy, man. A wild story in Baltimore. If you haven't seen it yet, you will see it. And if you haven't seen this one yet, you'll see this too. Sean Diddy Combs had his homes raided in Miami and Los Angeles while his plane was flying from L.A. to the Caribbean, and people thought he was fleeing the country. Then he was spotted in Miami near an airport, Opa-locka, I think is the name of the airport, Opa-locka, like he was going to get on a plane and leave while they're raiding his house. 2 of his sons at the house were handcuffed by federal agents. This is like Homeland Security. This is a big investigation into sex trafficking, human trafficking. Sean Diddy Combs is a rapper, if you didn't know. He is ultra rich. He's worth well over $1 billion. And he has settled more sex lawsuits than you can count. He is thought to be a creeper. People have suggested at one point, he found a whole bunch of young stars, like Justin Bieber he was with when he was 15, would have him stay at his house. Remember how Michael Jackson used to have kids hanging around the house and stuff? That's Sean Combs has done that too. Justin Bieber, some other rappers. He had like a guardianship of a minor singer. I forget which one it was. Like living with him as a 16-year-old boy. I don't even want to go there on Sean Combs, but everybody forever has thought, boy, this guy is a hot mess. Of course, the Obamas loved having him to the White House. There's all kinds of cool pictures of Sean Diddy Combs and all the Democrats. And there are those that believe in a conspiracy type way that Combs is going to be the fall guy, that he's going down, and they're going to try to get him to drop names, Epstein names, things like this. This all could be related in some way. I have no clue. I'll watch it unfold in real time. I know this was a real raid, and they took a lot of stuff out of those houses, and they wouldn't have gone there and done this if they weren't going to arrest and convict a whole bunch of people. And I wouldn't want to be Sean Diddy Combs right now. That's just a fact, Jack. But at this point, he is still apparently in the United States and claiming he has done nothing wrong. Sports Today is brought to you by the Bluemont Hotel. I got an RSVP from a patron yesterday who says he's coming to the patron party on Thursday, and he said, I'm staying Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night in Manhattan at the Bluemont Hotel. He travels in medical field. I think it's a medical field he's in, and he goes around and does a lot of different things. And his go-to place, he says he stays at the Bluemont Hotel in Manhattan. He's spending 3 nights there this week, and then he's going to roll back into Kansas City and head to our patron party and watch the Royals on opening day. That's pretty cool. The Bluemont Hotel is the place to stay in Manhattan. It's also great for wedding parties, rehearsal dinners, receptions, graduation, reunion, birthdays, whatever it may be. They've also got Goolsby's restaurant and entertainment center inside the Bluemont Hotel. It's easy to make a reservation. BluemontHotel.com. That's BluemontHotel.com. It was just announced that K-State and Arizona will open their season on a Friday night in Manhattan in September. That sounds like a great time to stay at the Bluemont Hotel. Log on to see if you can stay there for a football game this fall. BluemontHotel.com. Amazing Garage Floors is online at AmazingGarageFloors.net, or you can call John or Heather Hutchins at 913-901-7139. That's 913-901-7139. Spring is absolutely the best time of year to seal your driveway. They threw salt all over it this winter. You've noticed down by the street that the concrete starts to pock, that it starts to get pitted out a little bit down there. It will eventually happen to your entire driveway and sidewalk if you don't seal it. Sealing it once is 10 times better than never sealing it, and it's not that expensive. It can save you thousands and add years of life to your concrete. It's not the garage floor seal. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the epoxy coating. This is a seal they put on the concrete, and it works wonders. I've done it with mine, and I feel great that I've done it with mine, protecting my driveway every single day. AmazingGarageFloors.net. They also are doing bids right now for your amazing garage floor, which guys, to be honest, you deserve. If you think there's too many preachy females in the Democrat Party, man up, get yourself a garage floor. Do it. Get an amazing garage floor at amazinggaragefloors.net. And Amini's Galleria, this is Amini's outdoor furniture tent sale going on now through the end of April. 60 months, no interest on all outdoor furniture. Check it out in person or see all their different fabric swatches in every possible color and combination you can get and order it just like you like it. They'll work with you right there on the showroom floor. Mention the podcast when you go in there. They're going to treat you like family. 105th and Metcalf in Overland Park. It's Amini's. They're also in St. Louis, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City. If you have family there, you can mention the podcast in any of those locations as well and get the good guy, friends, and family discount at Amini's. This is Amini's. The Royals open opening day, and it's a whole new team. $100 million in free agent spending this offseason. Will Smith was a big part of that. He is back with the Royals. You may not recall he was here about 10 years ago. He's in the bullpen, and he may well be the closer. And he's only a $5 million guy, but he knows a lot of people in baseball. He's won a bunch of World Series, been on many different teams, and he knows a lot of dudes. And he was very instrumental in the Royals going out and bringing in other pitchers and other players to this team. And it's kind of cool what happened. It's an all-new bullpen. You're going to need a roster for that. But they've got some bona fide stars on this team. Salvador Perez is a Hall of Famer. Bobby Witt Jr. is a $250 million man. Cole Reagans looks like an ace. It's too early to confirm that, but he looks like an ace. The rotation goes like this. Reagans at the top. He'll pitch on Thursday. Lugo and Waka, veteran, proven commodities in the 2 and the 3 spot. Brady Singer's your 4th starter now instead of trying to be the alpha male here. And Alec Marsh makes the rotation, and Jordan Lyles goes to the bullpen. Jordan Lyles is a veteran, very versatile guy to have on your team. He famously lost a bunch of games last year. But Alec Marsh has cracked the rotation with a 1-something earned run average in spring training, and this is a good sign. Daniel Lynch has been sent down to the minors. I think these are all good signs. Earn your way onto the roster, earn your way into the rotation. The Royals seem to be doing that. They believe they are considerably better. Now, that means absolutely nothing until Thursday and they start winning games. You start winning games, you got something good going on. But you have to like these moves. You have to say this about the Royals heading into the 2024 season. You have to say what they did and what they have done with this roster and the moves that they have made look great on paper. They absolutely look. They don't all look durable. It doesn't look like some wave like, okay, this is a 5-year plan. It doesn't look that way. A lot of these are incentive-laden contracts, and guys can become free agents, and the Royals had to do some things and be creative that other teams didn't do, but that's okay. The Royals should be doing things other teams aren't doing. I'll just say this. If Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt stay healthy, and Cole Reagans is as good as he was last year, the Royals are going to stay in contention. I'll say it. You got 2 bona fide stars in Salvi and Bobby. And Cole Reagans, if he's as good as he was last year, you've got an ace. You know how far you can go in this division, this mediocre Central Division that the Royals are in, if you have a genuine ace and 2 real stars on your team? You can do a lot. I'm pretty excited about that. Royals games, 161 of them will be on Bally Sports Kansas City. They will not be on Amazon beginning Thursday. I get a lot of emails from many of you wanting to know if they're going to be on Amazon Prime. They are not yet on Amazon, but we believe they will be. Right now, the parent company that went bankrupt is called Diamond Sports. Amazon infused 40% cash into that company to gain rights for all these different teams, basically bailing them out. The courts have to approve the bankruptcy settlement and Amazon's cash coming in before Amazon can air a game. That's a pretty simple concept. Amazon is bought in, but the company they bought was bankrupt, and that has to go through bankruptcy proceeding first. I have no clue how long that takes, but everybody I talk to says these games will be on Amazon at some point this year. If you want to hold out for that, you can. If you don't have Bally Sports Kansas City, you can stream it by going to ballysportskc.com. I think it's $19.99 a month for every single Royals game. And the Royals are in a better spot than the Colorado Rockies. The only way to watch Colorado Rockies games, and they lost 103 games last year, is to pay $19.99 a month to watch them on Rockies.tv. And I'll ask the simple question. How did we get here with Major League Baseball teams? Every over-the-air television station in Kansas City that you know of, the NBC, the CBS, the ABC, and the Fox affiliates, every single one of them, I understand why they can't put Royals games on, because the games are at night and they have network programming that they have to air. I get that. So they can't put the Royals on instead of the Masked Singer or The Voice. But they all have little sister stations that are also over-the-air TV. Channel 62, Channel 38. You can get them with a $4 stick on the back of your TV. They come in crystal clear in HD. How are these baseball teams not on these sister stations in these markets? How can that be? Every one of these baseball teams all across America gets television ratings. They get bigger ratings than anything else in the summer. I don't understand why they're not on those channels. How we got into this streaming cable TV nightmare where people don't know what to do, where it really is as simple as anybody in this city, no matter your income level, no matter what it is that you want, you can get your local channels. It literally is a $5 stick on the back of your TV and you get them all free. You get like 20 channels in this town free. Forever. They're still over the air, folks. How are these baseball teams not on there? How do the Colorado Rockies not have a cable partner? How is it streaming only at Rockies.tv? And why are the Royals still in this jam where all the people that have left cable are saying, I don't have the Royals, I don't have the Royals. Well, get the cable. It isn't more expensive. You can get, like, I'm on Spectrum. You can get Spectrum streaming and internet in your home for under $100. By the time you're piling up all the other subscriptions, I mean, what are you doing? You get everything. You get if you want to add Netflix or a couple little streaming services, go for it. But you get it. It's not, I don't get it, man. I've read stories about people who literally have all these different subscriptions and streaming, and they're spending like $600 a month. And they don't know it because everything is separate. But I'm not paying $80 for cable and internet. Okay. Whatever. Rockies.tv. The Royals have it better than that. They'll be on Bally Sports, Kansas City. And we'll be watching with a whole bunch of KKHI patrons on Thursday. It's going to be fun. We didn't spend much time yesterday talking about L'Jarius Sneed being gone from the Chiefs. There was just too much else going on with basketball and whatnot. And I'm okay with L'Jarius Sneed being gone here. Again, I know I'm soft on the Chiefs. You don't have to tell me. When you've won 3 Super Bowls like they have, and you've been so good at managing your roster, and you just keep getting younger and better, you can't really complain. You can't be outraged that L'Jarius Sneed is gone. They couldn't pay him the $80 million that the Titans are paying him. What you hate about this is the Chiefs didn't get hardly anything for him. The Tyreek Hill thing was great. We saw those picks, and we saw what they turned it into. This one, they didn't get much for Sneed. I'm shocked. I thought the market would be much bigger than this. Chiefs get a 7th-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick next year. Now, that's going to be 2 players that'll make the team and contribute. And the way the Chiefs go, one of them will probably be a really good player. But what this really says to me is the Chiefs believe that L'Jarius Sneed is imminently replaceable. That Joshua Williams, one of these guys, came on, and it's going to be done. The Chiefs are not worried about the position. They still have McDuffie on the other side. They're not worried about it. That's what this tells me. They are not worried about losing L'Jarius Sneed. And, coaches are like this a lot because they always live by, hey, he could blow his knee out and be gone for the season anyway. We'd still have to find a way to win a Super Bowl. That's true. The Chiefs are simply saying this isn't worth the money. We got to spend our money elsewhere. We can replace this player with somebody either as good or close to as good without spending this kind of money. And so I'm with them. So I'm not going to be overly critical. I don't really know how I could be. They've been so good at doing this. That's a different kind of bind than the University of Kentucky is in. Mitch Barnhart, the AD there, is mulling over whether to pay John Calipari $33 million to walk away. My guess would be if some billionaire there that owns a Kentucky Derby horse wants Calipari out and offers to write the check, they'll pull the trigger. But it doesn't look like it. Looks like Calipari's going to stay. And Kentucky doesn't have the stomach to pay him $33 million to go away. Remember, just a couple of months ago, Texas A&M spent $75 million to get rid of Jimbo Fisher. their football coach. Therein lies the difference between football and basketball. $75 million to get rid of your coach, no problem at Texas A&M. They just ponied right up. John Calipari, $33 million. We're going to balk on this one a little bit. Take some time and think about it. I don't think Cal's ever going to win anything meaningful again. I just don't. I just don't. I think there's enough proof in that pudding. Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player in baseball, had a news conference yesterday that was not a news conference. It was announced as such. What it was Shohei Ohtani reading a statement with an interpreter about the gambling scandal, where he alleges massive theft took place, lies happened, and he was the victim of his interpreter stealing $4.5 or $5 million to pay off gambling debts to bookies, which everyone is saying has to be a lot more than that, because there's going to still be some debt that if he paid $4.5 or $5 million, he didn't pay it down to zero. He paid half of it or a fourth of it. And there's probably 10 million more sitting there that's got to be paid off. This doesn't look right. It doesn't smell right. Ohtani's not taking questions. Lawyers and authorities are involved. There is nothing believable about this from Shohei Ohtani. I can't tell you what happened. I'm not going to accuse him of being the guy that was gambling. I'm just going to say there is nothing here. Forget the eye test. You can't even walk in the room and this thing doesn't pass the smell test. It stinks so bad. There is no, okay, your interpreter is stealing millions and millions of dollars from you out of your bank account and you don't know it. And nobody else notices? Not in this day and age. I ain't buying it. I think Shohei Ohtani could be in some really, really big trouble here. Maybe even legally. We'll see, because I think a lot of this was illegal gambling. This could be wild. Of course, they are very quick to let you know that none of this was betting on baseball. Really. So the interpreter was doing it without, this is the impossible part. Ohtani says he didn't know anything about it. The interpreter did it on his own. Well, wouldn't the interpreter be taking all the baseball information he was gathering by sitting in the dugout, being around the team every day? Wouldn't you want to bet on baseball with inside information? If you were really a thief and stealing and Ohtani didn't know, why would they say none of these bets were on baseball? Who can prove that? And if this guy was such a thief that he did all this, you damn sure better be guaranteed he was betting on baseball, because that would be the sport he'd know most about what was going on, who was going to pitch, what relievers were unavailable in a game, which players were hurting. All that is critical information. It doesn't know. This one stinks to the high heaven with Shohei Ohtani. Our final today is brought to you by Buck Disposal, online at buckdisposal.com. If you need a container for one day or a week or a month, service is Buck Disposal's job. They'll bring you any size you like to get rid of all the stuff at your work site, job site, or just cleaning out your house. Online at buckdisposal.com. Jocelyn's Jewelry at 95th and Antioch is the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family. Online at jocelynsjewelry.com. And TimeWise Media. TimeWise Media has 20 years of experience. They can help your company grow. If you'd like to learn more, go to timewisemedia.com or call Chris Benson at 913-702-2722. Simple, low-cost, effective plans to get dynamic insertion and be in different places can help your business grow. timewisemedia.com. My final is going to ruffle the feathers of a lot of you. You're not going to like this. And I saved it for the end because it belongs as a final because I'm not passionate about this. It's just something you're more passionate about than I am, and it's going to upset you. I don't like Caitlin Clark. I've come to that conclusion. Last night in their game against West Virginia, as she made a basket, she ran toward the sideline and shouted, "Shut the F up," at somebody. I don't know who. She has also said people are more interested in her and the women's tournament than the men's tournament. That is incorrect. She has a massive ego. She is not handling it well. She flops on the court, screams at the refs, tries to get calls. She got them because they shot like 30 more free throws than West Virginia last night. In a tight game was all the difference in the world. She's a flopper. She's a screamer. She fights. She is absolutely the player that if she's yours, you love her. and she is absolutely the player. If she's not yours, you can't stand her. I'm ready for her to go away. She can shut the F up because she is wrong. Nobody cares more about her or women's basketball than men's basketball. Sorry, maybe at Iowa right now because their men's team is out of the NCAA tournament, the women's team is in. They care this year, but at the core, no, they don't. They'd rather have a Caitlin Clark on the men's team and be in the Sweet 16 of the men's tournament. Every single one of them, except for family members. Every single one. So she needs to shut up. As they're in the Sweet 16, I'll have to look up who they're playing next, but I'm rooting for that team. Don't forget to hit the like or follow button at Kevin Keatsman Has Issues.
Kevin Keatsman Has Issues has been presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC and is produced by Crooked Tail Media. Please hit the like or follow button wherever you listen or give us a review. For premium content podcasts and weekly newsletter, join as a patron at kkhasissues.com for as little as $5 a month. Support all our sponsors and other conservative businesses at thekklist.com.
This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media, Incorporated.